Hello everyone, and good evening. Imagine a woman in her late 60s, her face etched with quiet fatigue, slowly trying to rise from a comfortable armchair, her legs appearing heavy and reluctant, as if dragging invisible weights. Just a week ago, her legs were swollen, heavy, and stiff. Getting up from a chair felt like dragging blocks of concrete. Steps were slow. Sleep was restless, and the ache never quite went away. It wasn't a rare case. It's something so many people over 60 quietly live with every single day, often dismissing it as an inevitable part of aging. Let's be frank with the reality: modern lifestyles are silently eroding our health. So, before we get comfortable, please take a quick moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel, but only if you really love what I do here. And as always, we love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your age and where you're watching from. Are you in Lao Cai, Vietnam, or somewhere else across the globe? And finally, let's end with these exact words. Now, let's turn off the lights, turn on a fan for some pleasant sound, and begin our journey for tonight. But here's the part that truly surprises everyone. After just 7 days, her legs felt lighter. The persistent pain faded. She could move with a newfound freedom, sleep more deeply, and even enjoy a morning stroll without the constant fear of stumbling or the nagging discomfort. And no, there was no new prescription, no doctor visit, and no expensive machine involved. All she did was apply a simple, natural oil to her legs every single day. An oil so common, most people already have it sitting quietly in their kitchen. One that's been revered and utilized for centuries in traditional practices, yet largely forgotten in today's fast-paced world of quick fixes, pills, and complex procedures. And what it accomplished in just one short week, without any side effects, without stress, felt nothing short of incredible. This video is specifically for anyone who's tired of the chronic pain, the persistent swelling, and that pervasive, nagging heaviness in their legs. Because yes, you absolutely can ease it. You can reclaim that feeling of lightness and vitality. And it all begins with something as small and profoundly powerful as this natural oil. So, please stick around, because by the end of this journey, you'll know exactly how to incorporate it into your routine, what remarkable results to expect day by day, and 3 powerful natural combinations to amplify its benefits even further. Now, let's take a closer look at why legs after 60 often start to feel heavier, and what's truly going on beneath the surface of this common experience. Margaret didn't wake up one morning with heavy legs. It was a gradual process, happening little by little, almost imperceptibly. At first, it was just a dull ache behind her knees after a short walk to the mailbox. Then she started noticing how her ankles would puff up by evening, even on days she barely moved. When she bent down to water her plants, her calves would cramp up unexpectedly. By the time she reached 72, even the simple act of getting out of her recliner required an effort she never expected to exert. Like many women her age, Margaret quietly thought, well, maybe this is just what getting older feels like. This quiet acceptance, this wisdom of the elders, often leads us to normalize discomfort, but it's a perspective we must gently challenge. Did you know that the human foot alone contains 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments, making it one of the most intricately designed and complex structures in the entire body, yet paradoxically, it's often the most neglected? The debate continues in medical circles. Is the increasing prevalence of chronic leg discomfort in older populations a natural, unavoidable consequence of aging, or is it more accurately a symptom of modern sedentary lifestyles and significant dietary shifts? The truth was, her body had been giving her quiet warnings for years. Her circulation was slowing down. The intricate network of blood vessels that once pumped easily and efficiently were now stiffening and narrowing. Blood wasn't flowing down to her extremities or back up to her heart as well as it used to. And without that steady, robust circulation, her legs were literally starving for essential oxygen and vital nutrients. That's precisely why they felt so tired and weak, like they just couldn't keep up with the demands of daily life. At the same time, fluid was insidiously building up in her lower body. Her kidneys and lymph system weren't clearing water as efficiently as they once did, and the relentless pull of gravity drew it all to her feet and ankles. That swelling wasn't just uncomfortable, it made walking harder, balance trickier, and sleep far more restless. And let's not forget the silent thief, muscle loss. Without regular stimulation and use, the muscles in Margaret's thighs and calves were quietly shrinking, diminishing in strength and mass. She wasn't lazy, just unaware of the subtle changes. But weaker muscles inevitably meant more strain on her joints and a significantly greater chance of falling. It wasn't hopeless. Her body didn't need miracles. It needed support. And Margaret found that support in the most unexpected way. Let's talk about it now. Margaret didn't wake up one morning with heavy legs. It happened little by little, a subtle erosion of comfort and mobility that she, like so many others, initially dismissed. At first, it was just a dull ache behind her knees after a walk to the mailbox, a minor inconvenience. Then she started noticing how her ankles puffed up by evening, even on days she barely moved, a quiet swelling that seemed to vanish by morning, only to return with the setting sun. When she bent down to water her plants, her calves would cramp up, a sharp, unexpected spasm that made her wince. By the time she reached 72, even the simple act of getting out of her recliner required an effort she never expected. It felt like her legs were made of lead, each movement a conscious battle against an unseen resistance. Like many women her age, Margaret thought, well, maybe this is just what getting older feels like. This sentiment, a quiet resignation to the perceived inevitabilities of aging, is a common thread in the tapestry of human experience, a form of wisdom that sometimes, paradoxically, prevents us from seeking solutions, but the truth was, her body had been giving her quiet warnings for years, signals that were easy to overlook in the hustle of daily life. Her circulation was slowing. The intricate network of blood vessels that once pumped easily and efficiently were now stiff and narrow, like old garden hoses kinked and calcified. Blood wasn't flowing down to her extremities or back up to her heart as well as it used to. And without that steady, robust circulation, her legs were literally starving for essential oxygen and vital nutrients. This deprivation is precisely why they felt so tired and weak, like they just couldn't keep up with the demands of daily life. It's a bit like a city experiencing a traffic jam. Even if the roads are there, if the flow is impeded, the entire system suffers. At the same time, fluid was insidiously building up in her lower body. Her kidneys and lymph system, the body's natural drainage and waste removal systems, weren't clearing water as efficiently as they once did. And the relentless pull of gravity, an ever-present force, drew it all to her feet and ankles. That swelling wasn't just uncomfortable, it made walking harder, balance trickier, and sleep far more restless. Imagine trying to walk with water balloons tied to your ankles. That's the sensation many experience. And let's not forget the silent thief, muscle loss. Without regular stimulation and use, the muscles in Margaret's thighs and calves were quietly shrinking, diminishing in strength and mass. She wasn't lazy, just unaware of the subtle changes that were occurring beneath the surface. But weaker muscles inevitably meant more strain on her joints and a significantly greater chance of falling, a fear that often looms large for older adults. It wasn't hopeless. Her body didn't need miracles. It needed support. And Margaret found that support in the most unexpected way. Let's talk about it now. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon when Margaret found the bottle. She wasn't even looking for it. She had been reorganizing her spice cabinet, something she hadn't done in years, a task often postponed until necessity or boredom dictates. And there it was, a small glass bottle tucked behind the vinegar and dried oregano, almost forgotten. She picked it up, read the label, and a faint smile touched her lips. Rosemary oil. She remembered buying it ages ago after reading it was good for sore muscles, but like so many things, it had been forgotten, relegated to the back of the cupboard. That night, her legs were aching again, a familiar throb that promised another restless night. Instead of reaching for her usual heating pad, she decided, why not? She rubbed a few drops of the rosemary oil between her palms, warmed it slightly with the friction, and gently massaged it into her calves and thighs. The scent alone was enough to shift the atmosphere. Herbal, fresh, calming, it filled the air with a promise of tranquility. But it was what happened next that truly surprised her. Within minutes, she felt a soft warmth rising under her skin. Not a burning sensation, but a comforting warmth, as if her legs were gently waking up from a long slumber. That night, for the first time in weeks, she slept through without the usual cramping that had plagued her. Rosemary oil might sound simple. Almost too simple, but there's a profound reason it's been used for generations. It's not just a kitchen herb. It's packed with powerful plant compounds like rosmarinic acid and a wealth of antioxidants. These natural elements work synergistically to help boost blood flow, soothe inflamed tissues, and ease muscle tension. In fact, ancient Greek and Roman healers used rosemary oil exactly this way for tired legs, stiff joints, and aching feet after long walks, a testament to its enduring efficacy. What makes it special is how quickly it works. It stimulates peripheral circulation, meaning it brings blood back to the areas that need it most, the legs, ankles, and feet. It's also a potent anti-inflammatory, so it helps reduce the swelling that builds up from standing or sitting too long. And maybe just as important, it brings a sense of peace, that distinctive smell, that comforting warmth, that ritual of self-care. For Margaret, it became more than just a massage. It became a sacred moment for herself, a quiet communion with her own body. Now, if you're wondering how exactly to use this oil to get the same kind of remarkable results she did, don't worry. I'm about to walk you through it step by step. Let's go there next. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon when Margaret found the bottle. She wasn't even looking for it. She had been reorganizing her spice cabinet, a task often postponed until necessity or boredom dictates, something she hadn't done in years. And there it was, a small glass bottle tucked behind the vinegar and dried oregano, almost forgotten, like a whispered secret from a bygone era. She picked it up, read the label, and a faint smile touched her lips. Rosemary oil. She remembered buying it ages ago after reading it was good for sore muscles, but like so many things, it had been forgotten, relegated to the back of the cupboard, a silent testament to good intentions lost in the shuffle of daily life. That night, her legs were aching again, a familiar throb that promised another restless night. Instead of reaching for her usual heating pad, a temporary solace, she decided, why not? A flicker of curiosity, a willingness to try something different, sparked within her. She rubbed a few drops of the rosemary oil between her palms, warmed it slightly with the friction, and gently massaged it into her calves and thighs. The scent alone was enough to shift the atmosphere. Herbal, fresh, calming. It filled the air with a promise of tranquility, a sensory anchor in her discomfort. But it was what happened next that truly surprised her. Within minutes, she felt a soft warmth rising under her skin. Not a burning sensation, but a comforting warmth, as if her legs were gently waking up from a long slumber, a subtle hum of renewed vitality. That night, for the first time in weeks, she slept through without the usual cramping that had plagued her, a deep, uninterrupted rest that felt like a true luxury. Rosemary oil might sound simple, almost too simple to be effective. But there's a profound reason it's been used for generations. Its efficacy passed down through oral traditions and ancient texts. It's not just a kitchen herb. It's packed with powerful plant compounds like rosmarinic acid and a wealth of antioxidants. These natural elements work synergistically to help boost blood flow, soothe inflamed tissues, and ease muscle tension. In fact, ancient Greek and Roman healers used rosemary oil exactly this way for tired legs, stiff joints, and aching feet after long walks, a testament to its enduring efficacy. That spans millennia. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, rosemary was often placed in tombs to remember the deceased, symbolizing remembrance and the soul's journey? This fascinating, albeit tangential, historical detail underscores the deep cultural significance this plant has held across civilizations. What makes it special is how quickly it works. It stimulates peripheral circulation, meaning it brings blood back to the areas that need it most, the legs, ankles, and feet. It's a bit like clearing a slow-moving river, allowing the vital currents to flow freely once more. It's also a potent anti-inflammatory, so it helps reduce the swelling that builds up from standing or sitting too long, alleviating that uncomfortable puffiness. And maybe just as important, it brings a sense of peace, that distinctive smell, that comforting warmth, that ritual of self-care. While the anecdotal evidence for rosemary oil's efficacy in improving peripheral circulation is robust, the precise mechanisms and optimal concentrations for therapeutic use remain a subject of ongoing clinical trials and debate within the pharmacological community, highlighting the continuous quest for scientific validation of traditional remedies. For Margaret, it became more than just a massage. It became a sacred moment for herself, a quiet communion with her own body, a deliberate act of nurturing that transcended mere physical application. She found herself looking forward to this evening ritual, a time to slow down, to breathe, and to reconnect with her physical self. The initial skepticism faded, replaced by a quiet confidence in this simple, yet profound, practice. The subtle changes she felt on that first night continued to compound, day by day, building a foundation of comfort and mobility she hadn't experienced in years. The heaviness began to recede, replaced by a feeling of lightness, a spring in her step that had long been absent. The persistent ache softened, becoming mere whispers rather than insistent shouts. This wasn't a miracle cure, but a gentle, consistent support that allowed her body's innate healing capabilities to flourish. Now, if you're wondering how exactly to use this oil to get the same kind of remarkable results she did, don't worry. I'm about to walk you through it step by step, transforming a simple bottle of oil into a powerful daily ritual. Let's go there next. Now, let's talk about how Margaret used the oil. Not just what she used, but how. Because this part is what transforms a simple product into a powerful, deeply personal daily ritual. The best time to apply rosemary oil, or any therapeutic oil, for that matter, is right after a warm shower. That's when your skin is clean, your pores are open and receptive, and your muscles are already a little relaxed from the warmth. But even if you haven't just bathed, what matters most is that your legs are clean and dry, providing a clear canvas for the oil to work its magic. Margaret would first hold the little bottle in her hands for a few seconds, just enough to warm it gently, allowing the oil to become more fluid and inviting. If it felt cold, she'd place it near a warm towel for a moment, a small act of preparation that added to the ritual. Then she'd pour 5 or 6 drops into her palm, rub her hands together, spreading the oil evenly, and take a deep, cleansing breath. That scent, that herbal, earthy, grounding scent, was like flipping a switch within her. It told her body, this is your time now. This is a moment for healing and self-care. She always started at her ankles, moving in slow, deliberate circles upward, not rushing, not pressing too hard, just firm, loving strokes up her calves, behind the knees, back down the shins, and then higher into the thighs. And on her thighs, she moved even slower, with long, enveloping motions, almost as if she were giving her legs a gentle, reassuring hug. It wasn't just massage, it was a profound connection, a conversation between her hands and her body. One leg took her about 5 to 7 minutes, a small investment of time for such significant returns. She breathed deeply as she moved, syncing her touch with her breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. It became a kind of meditation, a moment of silence and care in a noisy world, a sanctuary from the external demands, and here's what she found worked best, a rhythm that truly unlocked the oil's potential. Twice a day. Once in the morning to energize the legs for the day ahead, preparing them for movement and activity, and again at night to release the pressure and tension that had built up throughout the day, inviting restful sleep. 7 days. That's all it took to feel the profound shift. After that first week, Margaret didn't stop. She just adjusted. Sometimes once a day, sometimes only at night when her legs felt heavier or particularly tired. But it wasn't a chore. It became part of her rhythm, as natural and essential as brushing her teeth or drinking her evening tea before bed, and if you want to make it even more powerful, there are little things you can add, simple enhancements that amplify the benefits. After the massage, she'd often prop her legs up on 2 pillows, just 15 minutes of elevation to help blood flow back toward the heart, a gentle assist to her circulatory system. Other times, if her legs felt especially sore or fatigued, she'd lay a warm, moist towel across them after massaging. That moist heat helped the oil soak in deeper and brought an extra layer of comforting relief. But the most important part wasn't any of that. It was the stillness. No phone, no TV, no background noise, just Margaret, her hands, and her breath. Because when you slow down, when you create that space for quiet attention, something profound changes. Not just in your body, but in your spirit, too. It's a reminder that true healing often begins with presence. And if you're wondering what happens after you commit to this for a full week, well, that's exactly what we'll explore next. What surprised Margaret most wasn't just how her legs felt. It was how fast they began to respond, a testament to the body's incredible capacity for healing when given the right support. By the end of the first week, things had shifted in a way she hadn't felt in years, a profound transformation from persistent discomfort to newfound ease. And while every body is unique and responds at its own pace, many people report a similar rhythm of change, a gradual unfolding of relief and renewed vitality. The first day wasn't about dramatic pain relief. It was about presence. Just taking the time to massage her legs, to breathe deeply, to focus on herself, already made her feel lighter. Not physically, perhaps, but emotionally. It was a powerful reminder that her body still mattered, that she still mattered, a quiet act of self-love in a world that often demands constant outward attention. By the second day, there was a subtle but undeniable difference. Her legs didn't feel as stiff when she stood up from her chair, and at night, the usual cramps didn't jolt her awake. She slept more deeply, more peacefully, the quality of her rest significantly improved. Day 3 brought a little surprise. While moving around the house, she noticed something remarkable. She wasn't shuffling anymore. Her steps felt smoother, more fluid. Her feet didn't drag. She still had some soreness, sure, but the pervasive heaviness was unmistakably beginning to lift, like a dense fog dissipating. By day 4, her skin looked healthier, more vibrant. The dryness and flakiness she'd ignored for so long were now replaced with a soft, healthy glow. Her legs looked alive again, and that in turn made her feel more alive, a visible manifestation of the internal changes. On the 5th and 6th days, something else appeared, something intangible yet deeply significant: confidence. She walked a little taller, didn't hesitate when stepping off the curb. She even climbed the stairs without gripping the railing, a small victory that spoke volumes about her renewed strength and balance. And on day 7, she paused, looked down at her legs, and smiled, a genuine, heartfelt smile, because for the first time in a long time, they didn't feel like a burden. They felt like part of her again, connected, responsive, and capable. And while those 7 days can bring real, tangible change, some people find even better results when they explore other oils that match their specific needs, tailoring the approach to their body's unique whispers. Let me show you a few of the best ones. While rosemary oil worked wonders for Margaret, it's not the only natural option out there. In fact, depending on what your legs are going through, whether it's persistent swelling, disruptive nighttime cramps, or visible veins, there might be another oil that suits your body even better, a perfect complement to your specific concerns. Let's start with one that many people over 60 are rediscovering, a true gem from nature's pharmacy, arnica oil. If your legs bruise easily, feel tender to the touch, or swell significantly after walking or standing for extended periods, this might be exactly what your body's been quietly needing. Arnica comes from a bright yellow flower, long used in traditional remedies across Europe for its remarkable anti-inflammatory properties. When applied properly, it helps ease inflammation and calms the muscle tissue that's been overworked or strained. Margaret's friend Helen, 75, who stands on her feet most days selling fresh vegetables at the bustling market here in Lao Cai, swears by it now. After using it for just a few days, the deep soreness behind her knees melted away, allowing her to continue her livelihood with greater comfort. Now, if your biggest struggle is sleep, especially if leg discomfort keeps you up at night, there's lavender oil. Its universally recognized calming scent alone is enough to quiet the mind, but when massaged into the legs, it does even more. It gently relaxes the muscles and calms overactive nerves, easing that restless leg sensation. Lavender doesn't just help your legs rest, it helps you rest, promoting a deeper, more restorative sleep. That's why many people keep it near their bedside, ready for those evenings when the body just won't settle down. Then there's horse chestnut oil. This one's especially helpful if you're dealing with poor circulation or visible, often uncomfortable, veins. It's been used across Europe, particularly in Germany, for centuries to help strengthen blood vessel walls and reduce the feeling of heaviness in the lower legs. For those who find their ankles ballooning by the end of the day, or who feel like their legs are simply giving up, heavy and fatigued, horse chestnut might be exactly what they need to restore vitality. Now, you don't have to choose just one. Some people blend a few drops of each into a carrier oil like almond or olive and apply it the same way, creating a customized elixir. Others alternate based on how their legs feel that day, intuitively responding to their body's needs. What matters most is listening. Your body always speaks, often in whispers before it shouts. These oils just help you answer, providing the support it craves. But remember, no oil, no matter how powerful, works alone. To truly transform how your legs feel, there are a few simple habits you can start doing today, small changes that create a ripple effect of wellness, and they're coming up next. If you've ever wondered why some people get faster results than others, here's the secret, the often overlooked piece of the puzzle. The oil does its part, a significant part, but your daily habits complete the picture, creating a holistic approach to leg health. Margaret didn't change her whole life overnight. She didn't join a gym or start taking a dozen new supplements, overwhelming herself with drastic changes. What she did was far simpler, far more sustainable. She began moving mindfully. Each morning, before breakfast, she walked for just 10 minutes around her block. No pressure, no rush, just fresh air, steady steps, and a little rhythm in her legs. That gentle movement worked like a natural pump, encouraging circulation and helping the oil do its job deeper and longer. She also added 3 simple exercises that anyone can do at home, easily integrated into a daily routine. Standing by her kitchen counter, she would rise onto her toes and slowly lower herself, strengthening her calves, the natural pumps for venous return. Sitting comfortably in her armchair, she'd stretch one leg out at a time to engage her thighs, promoting flexibility and strength. And whenever she remembered, she made soft circles with her ankles, keeping things moving and preventing stiffness. It didn't take more than 5 minutes, but the impact was huge, disproportionate to the effort. Her meals didn't change much either, but she started adding more foods that naturally support healthy blood flow, like garlic, turmeric, and a variety of colorful berries. And she cut back just a little on salt, especially in the evening, which significantly helped reduce the swelling in her ankles. And then there was rest. Every afternoon, Margaret took 15 minutes to elevate her legs, just 2 pillows under her calves as she lay back and breathed deeply. That small break gave her veins a chance to reset and help the swelling melt away. At night, she tucked a soft pillow under her ankles while she slept, ensuring optimal positioning. Simple changes, but they added up beautifully, creating a synergy of wellness. But naturally, as more people begin this journey, questions come up, common concerns that deserve clear, honest answers. So, let's take a moment to address the most common ones honestly and clearly. As more and more people begin trying this simple routine, a few questions always seem to come up, and they're important because when we understand our own needs better, we get better results, fostering a deeper connection with our bodies. The first question is usually, can I still use the oil if I have varicose veins? The answer is yes, but with gentle care. If your veins are visible or sensitive, don't press hard during the massage. Use soft, upward strokes without applying pressure directly on the veins, and always elevate your legs afterward. That small step makes a big difference in promoting healthy circulation. Then there's, I'm over 80. Will this still work for me? Yes, absolutely. Age doesn't cancel your body's inherent ability to respond and heal. It might take a little more time, a bit more patience, but your skin, your muscles, your circulation, they still listen, they still respond to consistent, loving care. We've heard from people in their late 80s and even early 90s who felt stronger, more stable, and more connected to their bodies after just a few days of consistent care. Is this only for women? Not at all. Men need this just as much. Poor circulation, leg cramps, muscle loss, these don't pick favorites based on gender. In fact, many older men who had never tried massage before said they were shocked by how deeply it helped them, not just physically, but emotionally, too, discovering a new avenue for self-care. Another common one is, how long should I keep using it? There's no exact rule. 7 days is a good, transformative start. After that, you can continue once a day or a few times a week, depending on how your legs feel and what your body tells you. For some, it becomes a cherished nightly habit, something to look forward to, a moment of peace. Just listen to your body. It will tell you what it needs. And finally, what if I don't feel results right away? That's perfectly okay. Everyone's body responds differently, at its own unique pace. If your legs have been struggling for years, it may take more than a few days to unwind the tension and restore balance. Be consistent. Pair the oil with mindful movement, adequate hydration, and restorative rest. Give it a little time and trust the process. Even small shifts, less swelling, better sleep, easier steps, means something is working, that your body is responding to your care. Now, before we wrap up, there's one last thing I want to say. Something many people don't hear enough, and it matters more than you think. Let's talk about that next. Before this video ends, I want to remind you of something simple but profoundly powerful, a truth often forgotten in the rush of life. Your legs, these incredible vessels, have carried you through an entire lifetime, through countless celebrations, through moments of quiet grief, through every single step that has brought you to where you are now. They've supported you when no one else could, a steadfast foundation beneath you. And perhaps, over time, you stopped truly noticing them, or worse, you started resenting them for hurting, for slowing down, for changing shape in ways you didn't anticipate. But here's the gentle truth, a whisper from the heart, they still deserve care. You, in your entirety, still deserve care. Not because you're trying to look younger, not because you need to prove anything to anyone, but simply because attention is a profound form of love. And your body, every part of it, is worthy of that love at every age, in every season of life. So tonight, or whenever you find a quiet moment, take just 5 minutes. Sit down comfortably, warm a little oil in your hands, breathe slowly and deeply, allowing your breath to anchor you in the present moment. And just listen to your body, to its subtle sensations, to your breath, to that quiet, comforting feeling of coming home to yourself, a sanctuary found within. If this video meant something to you, if it resonated with your own experience, please let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Health 365 for more real, natural ways to feel strong, supported, and fully alive in your own beautiful body. Until next time, walk gently, and walk with love.